It has never been more important to support makers as it is now. In a culture cuffed to mass manufacture, we risk losing the skills and magic that independent makers bring to the world.
We are Kate and Jack Lennie, a husband and wife team from Scotland who independently publish a quarterly magazine, and we also have an in-person podcast. We have made it our mission and purpose to ensure this world does not lose the magic that makers and artists bring to it. We Are Makers' journey started from my own experience being a maker. I've navigated the hurdles of bringing my story and handcrafted work to light, in a marketplace saturated with inexpensive substitutes and a general detachment of how things are made or who made them. Facing challenges similar to my own and from makers and artists, I felt a strong urge to make a difference somehow. This grew into what is now our mission. This mission has a three-pronged approach: educate customers about the value of well-crafted goods, provide a platform for makers to share their stories and passions with the world, and to inspire the next generation by showing them that craft is a worthwhile career.
It is for these reasons We Are Makers exists. By telling makers' stories to a wider audience, we believe we can accomplish our mission. So we set out to curate, design and self-publish our magazine. Why take the form a magazine? Isn't print dead? That's what everyone asks. Kate and I were not prepared to curate and be entrusted with these makers' stories and then throw them out to the internet and hope they would stick and land with the right audience. Truth is, the physicality of print is its superpower. It is the only form of media that can still physically be put in front of your desired audience, and it lives on indefinitely.
Furthermore, we realised with dwindling attention spans and notification interruptions, online platforms don't offer the depth of engagement needed for those stories to truly resonate and leave a lasting impact. We knew our success lay in a different approach. By creating a platform immune to the whims of algorithm and digital distractions and a general noise of online scrolling, our print finds new audiences around the world through D2C, newsstand and wholesale. We proudly sit on the shelves ready to capture new audiences.
It is important to say we had no prior experience in print. And it's been no small feat to create something that is exceptional and that demands the attention of the readers. Nevertheless, we got to work. After months of research, by Kate, and development, in September 2020, We Are Makers Edition 1 was launched. It featured 80 makers from around the world and it acted as a showcase of a diverse array of crafts, including Brian Cush, who you just heard earlier.
All this work to bring this first edition to reality was worth it, and we quickly realised that We Are Makers had real potential, so we got to work on edition 2. Fast forward 5 years this month, and 10 editions later, we featured the stories of 382 makers from 41 different countries.
Our function: to spotlight a huge variety of craftspeople, from saddle makers to ceramicists, glass artists to printmakers, coppersmiths to blacksmiths, wood carvers to weavers. You get the point. Each edition functions as a voyage of discovery through crafts you may recognise or not. We are set apart not just by our form, but by our approach. Sharing makers' work and what the final product is secondary to what we do. We primarily focus on the maker's story, both personal and professional. By doing it this way, readers from across the world are not only discovering new craftspeople, they are connecting with them and relating to their stories. They are being educated into what it means to be a maker. As We Are Makers grows, so does its form. Sat alongside our flagship, the magazine, sits our podcast, a chance for us to sit with makers and have long-form, meaningful discussions with them, as well as documentary films, which Kate mentioned, of which we have 2 releasing this month.
Documentaries are fantastic and we can tell stories in a beautiful way. However, they are costly and time-consuming, and we realised that we needed to continue telling makers' stories in the same way as our magazine does. This is where We Are Makers podcast was born. We sit down in makers' spaces face-to-face, wherever they are in the world, and ask them the same questions makers and enthusiasts around the world are asking themselves the same question every day.
Our travels have taken us across the UK, Europe, USA and now Australia, and we're only just getting started. Travelling thousands and thousands of miles every year to tell makers' stories and the incredible crafts that they keep alive.
A unique aspect of our podcast is its mobile nature. There are few that embrace the concept of travelling podcasts, understanding that many makers might find it challenging to speak in front of a camera, like me, or engage in lengthy discussions. We've designed our podcast to create a relaxed and enjoyable atmosphere, allowing our guests to share their stories authentically. So, what's next? So far, we're covering different ways in which people consume content, attacking all ways in which we can get the eyes on these amazing craftspeople. You can read, watch, and listen.
With regards again to its form, We Are Makers may not always remain as a magazine, may not always remain as a podcast or documentary films. One of these forms may take precedent, or something else completely. What will not change, however, is our function: to spotlight and uplift the makers of the world in a bid to ensure we do not lose any more of these crafts or skills to mass manufacture.
As a team, we've done a lot in the last 5 years. We hope to do the same just as much in the next 5. So if you're ever interested in following along, please do. If we are successful in this, we have played our part in making sure makers, artists and craftspeople are heard, and the magic that they bring to this world is not lost.